Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, honor, and glory to our Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Racha Kadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Barakatham, peace and blessings, salutations to the hopefully elect. So Esau is going in hard with his propaganda machine, with his smear campaign against the Israelites, all right? And this ain't nothing new. This is what the devil always do, because before he comes in to do his dirt and do his wickedness, first he has to justify himself or give himself a what you call a Cassius belly, or a righteous cause to go in and do what he is desiring to do, which in this case is to destroy you Israelites. So this incident here with the that happened in Charlotte allegedly, which I watched the video and the whole thing was just off, watching it, the whole thing was just like it just felt like it was set up. And one thing you got to keep in mind about Esau is that when he blasts a particular story all over the news, that's because he's getting ready to do something, all right? Because, see, Esau is all about controlling the mind. That's what the government is all about. Govern, control, and mint goes into the mental, goes into your mind. So this devil, he wants to control the mind. He wants to sway your perception, the way you think, the way that you view things. And that's all really a war tactic, all right, what you call a psychological operation, in which he works on the psyche or the mind to manipulate it into believing narratives, in this case, that are false and unfounded, all right? So you see right here, and this is more propaganda, more rhetoric, more slander. Trump demands death penalty for animal charged with murder of Irina Zarutska. All right, so you have this so-called black man, this Israelite, that allegedly unalived this blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman, okay, and to Edomites, that's pretty much like, what do you call it? That's like the epitome, right, of Edomite beauty, okay? The blonde-haired, slender, long legs, tall, blue-eyed white woman, Edomite, okay? So the fact that you see this, dreadhead Jake, put hands on her and unalived her, on video, and now Esau putting it out there on his mainstream media for, the whole nation, really, the whole world to see. This is because he's trying to make Jake the face of terror. Okay, he's trying to make Jake the face of everything that's wrong with America. And this incident could very well have been staged, because I don't put nothing past this devil. The fact that when you watch the video, I was going to show it on here, but how YouTube do, you show a video on there and they take it down. So, but you can, it's pretty easy to find it, pull it up and watch it. But yeah, like when the Jake, allegedly stabbed her, you ain't really see no marks on the female's neck. You ain't really see no blood like that. Because look, if you stab somebody in the neck, you have what you call the jugular vein, which is one of the main veins that run through your body in your neck. So if you stab that artery, you should see, blood gushing out from that artery. But you didn't see that. You know what I'm saying? You looked at her neck, it wasn't really no mark or nothing like that. But there was blood on the blade that he used and on the seat. Okay? And everybody that was there, they just, they were just there like nothing happened. Okay? And the camera was pretty much fixated on those two. And it was just pretty random. Like he just got up and did what he did. You know what I'm saying? Also, even though we understand as well that we're in a time of judgment, it's a lot of judgments, a lot of death going on out here. Spirits of vengeance are highly active. Okay, but whatever the case may be, Esau, he don't let a good crisis go to waste. Okay, so even if this isn't something that just happened organically, and it is set up, well, it all plays into the agenda, right? Because allegedly this Jake, came out of jail. He's a repeat offender, you know what I'm saying? So who knows, man? Esau very well could have, set this Jake up to do what he did, and that's not far-fetched. I mean, they showed you that in the movie Judas and the Black Messiah, you know what I'm saying, to where they got the one dude, saying he had all kind of charges against him. And Esau gave him a way out. He said, yeah, if you go over there and pretty much give us intel on what the Black Panthers got going on, then we'll give you X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? And he pretty much went and did that and, infiltrated the organization and took it down from within. All right, so it ain't nothing for Esau to use, a Jake, which he views as expendable anyway, put him up to a task, have him do it, and give him some, trinkets at the end of it, man. Right, that's how this devil worked. But Trump, the rhetoric coming out is he called this dude a ferocious animal, you know what I'm saying? When you read here, President Donald Trump is calling for the death penalty. You see, so this dude Trump ain't playing, so he calling for the death penalty, man. He ain't calling for jail time. He's not calling for justice to be done. You know what I'm saying? He wants this Jake to be taken out, okay? For the Carlos Brown Jr., the mentally ill homeless man charged with the brutal murder of Irina Zaruska, okay? And if it was an Edomite that was homeless and mentally ill, he wouldn't have been calling for the death penalty. But because it's a Jake, so-called black man, he's like, oh yeah, we got to kill this nigga, okay? These people are animals, all right? That's the narrative that this devil is putting out there. And once again, this is nothing new, all right? I got a video pull up in a second showing you that this is what this devil has always done. Because when he came to America, what did he do? All right, Esau knew that he wanted the land, he wanted the resources of America, but he had to justify himself in removing people and putting people to death from off the land. So what did he do? He said the natives, oh, they're savages, they're uncivilized, they don't have any culture, they don't have a language, you know what I'm saying? They don't have a system of writing, okay? They're not as civilized as us. So therefore, us good Christian white men, we're justified in coming in here and cleaning these people out, okay? And taking the land for ourselves so we can civilize it, okay? It's no different than what's going on in Gaza today, okay? You basically have the whole, Israeli government, they pretty much have labeled all Palestinians, all the people that live in Gaza as Hamas, okay? That's pretty much what they've done. So that's slander and false propaganda right there. You see? Same thing they did with Jake during slavery, the Jim Crow era. Okay, they said Jake, the so-called black man's skull is smaller than the average white man. Their bodies are strong, so they're built for work. Okay, these devils are tapping back into the scientific racism. Okay, they're tapping back into that pseudoscience, because that's what they've always used to justify their bullshit. Okay, but they're bringing it back now because they're really declaring war on you Israelites. You see? Yeah, so Trump calling for the death penalty on this guy. This is another quote from Trump. The animal who so violently killed the beautiful young lady from Ukraine who came to America searching for peace and safety. Hey, there you go. Okay, peace and safety. You can't make this up. That's the spirit. Because these devils, they're all of what you see going on, and I think there was 2 more school shootings again today. Like, goddamn, I got to put together a video. But look, man, all of what these devils are doing, and it's very convenient that all these things are happening now, okay? These devils, they're going to implement order out of a need for peace and safety. Because right now, they making people afraid, you know, because there's so much happening. There's so much death. It's so, you know what I'm saying? We live in such an unhinged society, which the society is the way it is because the wicked is ruling. But they've made it this way to where people are now afraid. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have kids in school that are like, yo, like, is it even safe for me to go to class today? Because I don't know. Like, somebody might just pop up and start, just start popping people. So it's like it's very uncertain right now. But this is when the devil's going to come in and offer a solution to this, which is ultimately going to be surveillance, you getting a digital ID, you ultimately having to receive the MOTB, all right, and pretty much relinquishing your rights to travel and all these things are coming down the pipe as we continue to tell you. Okay? So, who came to America searching for peace and safety should be given a quick, there is no doubt, trial and only awarded the death penalty. So basically what he's talking about is basically make a kangaroo court for this nigga and lynch him. All right? That's basically what he's saying here. All right? He said he should be given a quick, okay? Basically saying that, look, we don't need to have this guy have a fair trial, okay? We don't need to waste our time on this animal. He basically just needs judgment. We need to just kill his ass. This is what Trump is calling for. And this has always been what Trump has been on, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember watching a documentary with the I think it was the Central Park 5 that happened back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Even though, them 5 boys were innocent, Trump called for the death penalty. All right, so this devil has always been on that type of time when it comes to you jakes, man. Okay, whether you right or wrong, kill him. You know what I'm saying? Get him out of there. And that, and that's how all these devils feel. Okay? They just want to see you jakes in the worst case scenario catching hell, constantly being oppressed. Because after all, these Edomites, they're your enemies, and you jakes need to wake up and understand who your enemy is. All right? So yeah, he said give him the death penalty. Blah, blah, blah. That's it right there. The animal who so violently killed the beautiful young lady from Ukraine who came to America searching for peace and safety should be given a quick trial and only awarded the death penalty. There can be no other option. Wow. You see that? He said, we will seek the maximum penalty for this unforgivable act of violence. Okay, but what about the individual that just popped Charlie Kirk? They still ain't found that nigga yet. You see what I'm saying? They still ain't found him yet, and they allegedly found a gun that the individual used, and now it's reports coming out that a private jet took off from the airport that was nearby. So, Esau just all over the place. Okay, Esau got too much going on for his own agenda, man. And that's why he's coming into a position of straits and difficulty, because the Most High is going to frustrate this devil. And he's currently doing it right now. All right? Because Esau telling so many damn lies that he forgets where he told the truth at. Okay? Now this devil got to backtrack. And he's getting sloppy. But despite all of what these devils got going on, the dysfunction of, how Trump is connected to the Epstein list, and, how America is losing, farmers are losing, people losing jobs, the answer or the scapegoat to all of the problems that America has is Jake. Okay? He's putting your face out there as the reason why America is going down. And he'll have you believe that, yeah, if you just get rid of these niggas, then America will be great again. All right? But listen, Jake don't have no power to collapse or destroy America. Okay? Only the Edomite elites have that power. And that's what they're doing. All right? let's get what is that? Psalms. I want to say 50. Let's see. Let's see. It's Psalms 50. Okay, here we go. Psalms 50, and we'll start at 16. But unto the wicked, Yahweh saith, what hast thou do to declare my statutes? Because you'll have these Edomites talk about God, and we need to become a God-fearing country again. Which their God is Satan. Okay, they don't worship the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man. You know what I'm saying? Their God is Satan. But even yet and still, these devils will still pick up the Bible. They'll be Bible thumpers and pastors and all this type of stuff, right? But they don't do nothing that's in the scriptures. Okay, that's why it says, but unto the wicked, Yahweh saith, what hast thou do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth, seeing thou hatest instruction, just like Cain hated instruction, right? Because these Edomites, they are the seed of the wicked. Okay, they're the seed of the serpent. Okay, going all the way back to the garden. All right, and castest my words behind thee. When thou sawest the thief, then thou contendest with him, and hast been partaker with adulterers. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thine own mother's son. And that's these Edomites, okay? All they do is, give their mouth to evil, right? And frame deceit with their tongue continually, man. See? And the main target is who? His brother, okay, Jacob, all right? Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thine own mother's son. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yahweh Bashmel Shai is going to deal with these Edomites very soon. But, the thing is to watch things like this, watch the rhetoric, you know what I'm saying? Oh, these are animals. These people are uncivilized. It's the same, what they would call, racial undertones. Okay, you're not directly coming out and saying that Jake is, the reason why America is going down, but that's what you're implying. Okay, because you'll take this one-off incident, which more than likely was a staged event anyway, and Esau, through the power of his media, which is really goes into his witchcraft, he'll blow it up and sway the minds of the average Edomite in America. And look at the imagery once again. Okay, blonde hair, blue-eyed white woman, and dreadhead Jake. Okay, so that right there is a very polarizing image. Okay, that's gonna get a lot of Edomites riled up behind this. Now, this the video. Okay, so this goes into the Red Summer of 1919, because see, history always repeats itself, and this goes to show you that we're dealing with the same people, we're dealing with the same devil. Okay, because exactly what they doing now with the scientific racism and trying to justify, why Jake should be put down and all this and that, they was doing this, like I mentioned earlier, since the inception of America. All right, but there came a time, after slavery, in the early 1900s, where Jake was doing pretty good for themselves. You know what I'm saying? They had so-called black towns all over America, and Jake was doing well. All right, well, it came a time after World War I, when a lot of Israelite men came back from war. They was expecting to be treated with respect for fighting for the country and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? They was expecting to be finally given equal rights, because they felt like they had earned it. But what they found out was that perpetual hatred that Esau had for them was still there. That it ain't going nowhere, man. And see, Esau don't give a damn if you fight and die for him. Esau don't give a damn if you put your life on the line. To him, you still a nigga, all right? And always will be. And that's what they found out after World War I. Okay, so all them prospering black towns that you had, across the country, there was then you had something called the Great Migration, in which millions of Israelites, from the south came up north and to spread out to the different states. They went Midwest, to the West, California, Washington State, areas like that, but mainly to the northern states, Chicago, New York, Boston, places like that. High concentration of Jake, and they had prospering communities. So there was a dog whistle, all right, which the government used during this time, and they used the media. Okay, you had films come out. There was that film, The Birth of a Nation, that came out around the same time, that portrayed Jake as pretty much a damn savage. They portrayed Jake as a rapist. Portrayed him as a just uncouth degenerate. Okay, and Esau blasted that false image of Jake in the newspapers and the magazines, on the radio, on film at that time. So white America as a whole, looked at Jake. Okay, because look, these Edomites already hate you, but they just need a justification to come against you and do you some harm. So they used the media, all right, to spread that propaganda to destroy Jake and destroy Jake's communities. And that's why you had Black Wall Street get destroyed. You know what I'm saying? That's why Rosewood happened. That's why, the black towns in Chicago and, other places were destroyed during this time, because of that, propaganda that Esau spread, just like how he's doing today. So this is what's coming next. First he puts out the propaganda, then he come with the sword.
In the summer of 1990.
Okay, we're going to skip to about the 20-minute mark. Yeah, right here is good. Yeah. But check this out, okay? Because this documentary mentions something that's very key as to how this whole, Red Summer of 1919 jumped off. And, I encourage you, Akim Wakwaf, to look into this on your own time, the Red Summer of 1919, because the same thing is about to happen again, man. See, Esau about to come with that sword to you, Jakes.
The struggle was not just local but national, requiring a coordinated response to the systemic forces underpinning the violence. Their activism during and after the Red Summer laid important groundwork for the civil rights movements that would follow in the decades ahead. The Red Summer revealed the depth and pervasiveness of racial injustice in America, how white supremacy was woven into the very institutions meant to ensure fairness and protect.
Exactly. Okay, so Edomite, or so-called white supremacy, is woven into the systemic structure of America, and it's always been that way. And that's why we say, or the scriptures say, for that matter, all right, to come out of Babylon the Great, man, to remove your mind out of this place, because why? This is not our rest. You see, you cannot thrive in a place that was, designed for you for you to fail. No matter how far you get, the devil can just knock you down, man. And that's exactly what happened in the early 1900s with Jake. Okay, Jake built themselves up, pulled themselves up by their bootstraps, and then Esau came and destroyed it all. Okay, bombed the towns, flooded them out. Got together the National Guard and just went out and just destroyed what Jake had going on. And that's why Jake is so messed up today, man, because of course, there's the curses, but also when Jake did have a little something, Esau came in and he took the wealth. Okay, and I was watching the big bro, Amawan Ibad earlier, and he mentioned in his video how, once, Esau destroyed, those black towns, that these devils came in and rewrote the deeds, okay, to the properties that Jake owned, what I'm saying? The house, the land, all the private possessions, and they absorbed that into the white community. And that's why to this day, the Edomite community, they have so much wealth, because it was stolen from you, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. They stole your wealth and they have appropriated it unto themselves. You see?
For all citizens. It also exposed the dangerous power of the media in shaping public perception and influencing social attitudes.
See that? It also revealed the power of the media to what? Influence social perception. You see? So these devils use the media to spread their propaganda, which is what? That Jake is the most dangerous, the most biggest threat to life on Earth. Okay, when in reality that couldn't be further from the truth. Now you do have 2/3 of our people that are dangerous, yes, but you Edomites, okay, these so-called white people, they're a threat to life on Earth itself. Okay, they destroy every damn thing that they touch. They destroy the water, they destroy the air, they destroy the people. All right, you didn't have Transformers once upon a time, but you have him now. And why is that? Because Esau allows it. Okay, you ain't have moles running around open to be proud at one point in time, but you have it now because why? Esau has allowed it. Esau has pushed that propaganda, and now you have people that accept these certain lifestyles. You know what I'm saying? And there's many more examples to give, but just to name a few of how he used the media as his propaganda machine to push what he wants to roll out. And whenever you see that it's one story continuously playing over and over and over and over again on the media, that's deliberate because Esau wants you to see that. Okay, and the main way of how you learn is through repetition. Okay, just like if you play ball, you know what I'm saying? You go to the gym and you practice one shot over and over and over and over again. Okay, you might practice the same shot 1,000 times until that muscle memory kicks in and it's like, okay, now I got it. Well, Esau does the same thing with the mind. That's how he works on your mind. He programs you through repetition. And all the way he's feeding you is all lies. Okay, so now people have internalized and now they believe the lies. And then they go out and they spread these lies amongst society in general. And now this becomes the status quo. Now this becomes the norm. So what he's done is he's made people believe that, yes, Jake is the biggest threat to America. And he's programmed these people so well through his media to now they believe this. All right. So now when he rolls on Jake, he's going to be justified and people are not going to feel no type of way about what's being done to Jake because you've been labeled as an animal. Okay. You've been labeled as a violent thug criminal that needs to be put down. All right.
A lesson that remains relevant today. By understanding these dynamics, we gain insight into why the violence was so intense and why the fight for equality required not only courage on the streets but also a battle to change hearts, minds, and laws. This painful chapter in American history.
Speaking of changing laws, right? Let's get Daniel 7. Daniel 7:25. And it says, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High. And this devil has indeed worn out the saints, man. Okay, because we tired. All right. We just want to get the hell out of here. You know what I'm saying? Jake is definitely worn out here in Babylon the Great. And think to change times and laws, and he's currently doing that now. To where he's pretty much already put laws on the books to where he's going to be justified in coming against you Israelites indiscriminately. Okay, and as Trump said in that True Social post, look, we don't even need to have a trial for this dude. Just put him to death. That's where these devils are going. They're about to do away with your so-called right to due process. Okay? They're about to do away with that and just execute judgment upon you. And when you look at it, it's really the judgment of Yahweh Bashmel Shai, because Esau slandering the 2/3 of our people. That's really the Most High calling you out. All right. That's the Most High threatening you through his sword, man. But at the same time, Esau, he's also guilty because he's, putting all of the Israelites into one pot and saying, you know what, all of y'all got to go. All of y'all are criminals. All of y'all are animals and savages. So all of y'all got to be put down. Okay? So that's going to be on his judgment. And think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time. So that's this devil. All right. He's making his case. He's making his testimony. And the Most High is about to give him the power to execute upon that. All right. When you go to Isaiah 47. Okay, because this devil, all right, he's now is the time he's gonna stand on his enchantments, all that witchcraft and sorcery that he's putting out there. All right, Isaiah 47, and let's start at verse 10. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge it hath perverted thee, and thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. Therefore shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt not know from whence it ariseth. And mischief shall fall upon thee, thou shalt not be able to put it off. And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. Stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit. If so be thou mayest prevail. Okay, so Esau, he got to be prepared to stand on his witchcraft and sorcery and hope that that's going to save him. But it's not. Okay, because all the what he's doing is a means to an end. Because ultimately we know that this devil, his blessing is a sword, and that's ultimately what he wants to put on you, Jakes. You know what I'm saying? Because he wants to get you Jakes out the way, because he knows his time is short and that you Israelites, you got next up to rule. And that means destruction for his ass. So his, in his carnal, twisted mind, he needs to get you Israelites out the way so that you can't inherit the blessing and that the Most High will choose him. Okay, that the Most High is going to leave this devil in the seat of rulership to continue to destroy the earth and destroy life itself. Hell no, man. All right, these devils got to go, and every day that goes by, the smear campaign on Jake is going to increase. You see? Meanwhile, you have all these damn school shootings going on. The economy is, collapsing. People are losing jobs more than ever. All right? People's quality of life is pretty much in the damn toilet. But Jake is they putting Jake out there as the reason as to why America is going under. You see? So it's all coming down to the wire. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to go ahead and close out right there, Lord willing. This lesson was edifying through the Rakah Kadash, called Lord Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Rakah Kadash. Until next time, Lord willing, shalom to the elect. Kum Yasha Allah, wa Baba Bo.